Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we're talking about Lamar Jackson and his MVP bid in a race which I think he probably ended today. Now, I don't know if you'll be watching this before or after New Year's, but I want to wish you a happy holidays, happy New Year's as we prepare to go into 2024. As I record this video, I'm currently sitting at 8,991 subscribers. So I kindly ask that you like, comment, and subscribe. Do whatever you can to help push this video into the algorithm so we can reach that goal of 9,000 subscribers and get closer to that milestone of 10,000 subscribers. Now, the Baltimore Ravens defeat the Miami Dolphins 56-19, clinching the #1 seed in the AFC. As we get to playoff football, they're going to have the bye week. All roads come through Baltimore. Lamar Jackson on that day, 18 of 21, 321 yards and 5 touchdowns. Zay Flowers continues to impress me as a rookie. He's the juice that we talk about when we look at explosive plays for this receiving core. He's the guy who gets the screen pass. He's the guy who can take a slant route 50 yards. He's the guy that can beat you deep. 3 receptions, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Justice Hill, it's been that next man up mentality in that backfield. I'm wishing a speedy recovery to both Keaton Mitchell and J.K. Dobbins. My condolences go out to those guys. But when we see how Justice Hill has stepped up into the backfield, 8 touches today and 112 yards. Also, Gus Edwards made some big time plays. The Baltimore Ravens have outscored their last 2 opponents 89-38. And we know what those last 2 opponents are. That's the San Francisco 49ers and that's the Miami Dolphins. Now, when we talk about elite teams, we're looking at the NFC elite, and it's the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, all of the guys on the defense, Fred Warner, Deommodore Lenoir, Nick Bosa. Looking at the Miami Dolphins, Jalen Phillips is hurt, but we're looking at Bradley Chubb. We're looking at Javon Holland, who just came back healthy today. Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, wishing a speedy recovery for him as well. We look at the offense, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle didn't play today, but we're looking at the body of work for those 2 teams, and they've outscored them 89-38. The 2 teams that they have played in the last 2 games have a combined record of 23-9. So these are big time games in which Lamar Jackson is stepping up in. Lamar in his last 2 games, 41 of 56, 573 yards and 7 touchdowns with 0 interceptions. So he's been playing clean football. He's been pinpoint accurate. He's a guy who's extending plays. He's scrambling when he needs to, but he's not looking to scramble. He had all day in the pocket today. So I think what we saw was a guy who was sitting in the pocket, having those big time reads, being decisive. Now, he had 321 yards on the day, but let's talk about that big time play that Rashad Bateman could have had early on in the game. Didn't survive the catch through the ground, but I think when we talk about a lot of big time catches, Odell Beckham having a catch like he's on the prime New York Giants. That catch right there on the right side of the sideline, it was close to the pylon. Big time catch from Odell. We're seeing him turn his head with the body adjustment. All of those different things with the hands catch, big time catch from Odell. And we're seeing Lamar Jackson. Like I said, this is a guy who can elevate his talent. Nelson Aguilar, Rashad Bateman had a pretty big time day, and Zay Flowers had a big time completion. He was wide open on his touchdown. And then you also look at some things, Patrick Ricard. They had a really good play schemed up for him where he's blocking. You got the receiver from the left side of the field. He's sneaking across, and then we sneak Patrick Ricard from that tight end position. We sneak him wide open. Boom, touchdown. It's extremely beautiful. Then you also have, I actually got to go to this. They also had another receiver who doesn't get a lot of touchdowns, doesn't get a lot of catches on this team, Charlie Kohler. Want to shout him out. He had 1 catch for 19 yards and a touchdown today. Big time play from Charlie Kohler. So I'm looking at all of these different things. Lamar Jackson's season stats. Now, we talk about quarterbacks, and I don't think when we look at strictly quarterback stats that's fairly assessing what Lamar Jackson has done this season. He's a guy who's a dual threat. He's an athlete from the quarterback position. We have to look at total yards from scrimmage because he creates those big time plays, not just in the passing game, but as a runner. On the season, 4,499 yards and 29 touchdowns. So I'm looking at all of these things. And I think when we look at this, we pair some of these things. We look at Jared Goff, we look at Brock Purdy, we're looking at Josh Allen, some of these big-time guys, even Tua, and there's guys from strictly the pocket who have some big-time statistics. But when you talk about moments, when you talk about impact, all of these things from a quarterback position to have these statistics, because that's been the biggest knock. Okay, he doesn't lead the league in QBR. He doesn't lead the league in any major passing statistical category, passing touchdowns, passing to interception ratio, passing yards. He doesn't lead in any of that. But when we add up the totality of what he does as a runner, and as a passer. Now we're starting to look at these numbers and say, whoa, it's balancing out a little bit. And as I look at the next guy who's in line for me, that's probably Dak Prescott. Now, the reason I'm saying, okay, even with Tua, Tyreek had a pretty solid game today, but when we look at how the game went, they keyed in on him. It wasn't really an opportunity where he could shine to his full extent. But facing Tua, you dominated him. Facing Brock Purdy, you dominated him. So I'm looking at those two guys. I can't rightfully give the award to those two guys when you had the head-to-head moment and Lamar Jackson dominated. He was the best player on the football field in those two games. So we wiped that. And then we look at Christian McCaffrey, elite player, very good player, has a lot of the accolades, has a lot of the stats, but got dinged up today. So I don't know if we can say that he's a guy who can win the award over Lamar Jackson. Now, he's extremely valuable to his team, and we saw that today. But when we talk about a guy who's stepping up in the biggest moments, primetime football, had a big-time game today, had a big-time game versus the San Francisco 49ers on Christmas, I'm looking at Lamar Jackson, and I think he is my MVP. Like I said, Dak Prescott next in line, 68.4 completion percentage, 4,237 yards, second in the NFL in passing yards, first in the NFL in passing touchdowns with 32, 8 interceptions, and a 70.9 QBR, which ranks him in third. So that's a very good season on the day, but could we give it to Dak Prescott? Now, mind you, he hasn't played Lamar Jackson head-to-head, so that's something we also have to consider. But when we talk about those biggest games, we've saw Dak Prescott shrink a bit in some of those games. Now, can we credit that to defense? Can we credit that to what the weapons have done? Can we credit it to Mike McCarthy? I think there's a lot of things that go into it. He has a very good resume. I'm not knocking Dak Prescott, but I think for Lamar Jackson, he has the resume plus the moment. So I really like what I see from him. I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Who is the MVP? Or has Lamar Jackson sealed this thing all up? Should he cook it, book it, whatever you want to do, set it and forget it? Is Lamar Jackson your 2023 NFL MVP? Because he's mine. Thank you for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're on that road to 9,000. But now,